Avast, me hearties. Welcome to Three Sheets to the Wind. And before we go any further, it is Wednesday as I'm filming this. The Royal Naval toast for the Wednesday is to ourselves. Nobody else will be bothered about us. Cheers. To battle. This is Scenario 1 from Fighting Sail by Osprey Games. Encounter on the High Seas. Both the British and French squadrons will consist of 3 third-rate ships. The British will have HMS Inflammable, the flagship, with Admiral Sir Bartholomew Bendover, who's a gunner, and Captain William Gusset, who's a navigator. HMS Incontinent is Captain James Whittle, who's a marksman, and HMS Indistinct is Captain George Gigglegrid, who's a standard officer. French squadron consists of Ducon as the flagship with Admiral Patrice Eau de Parfum, who's a revolutionary, and Captain Pierre Perdu as a navigator. Pomme de Terre with Captain Robert Rougebal, who's an architect, and Pouf with Captain Maurice Blancmange, who's an average standard captain. Here's the British squadron, line astern, Inflammable, Incontinent and Indistinct. Barty Bendover, the Admiral, in the lead ship. They're close hauled and they're going straight for the French. And the French squadron also close hauled. Ducon, the flagship, in front with Admiral Patrice Eau de Parfum, Pomme de Terre and Pouf bringing up the rear, who misses. Let's do some initiative. British are red and the French are blue, so they'll be going first. Ducon, the flagship, then he needs 5 for his sailing and he gets 2. At the moment he's just going to go straight at the British. Pomme de Terre gets 3, but we'll only use 2 and I'll just go straight up behind Ducon. And finally Pouf doesn't get any, so he gets the bonus 1 only. He's lagging behind. British only have 4 sailing dice. They need 5s also. No, so they're on a go slow. Just get the 1. Incontinent gets 2, but will just go up behind Inflammable, and Indistinct just gets the 1 as well. So 4 sailing by the British. End of turn. Initiative, French retain that, and away they go. Ducon. Ooh dear, that is not good. So what he will do there is, I think, go his 2 and then turn towards the wind 30 degrees. Pomme de Terre, just the 1 as well, so he will just follow on. And old matey at the back gets 1, so he is struggling. Old Pouf. Just 4 dice for the British ships. They're not as good sailing wise. He gets 2 for Inflammable. Manoeuvring now to get into broadside action. Incontinent 1. Right, Incompetent. And Indistinct 2, but they will just follow up behind. I think they're still out of range. Initiative, French again. Right. Ducon, 2 sailing points. Well, old Parfum is just going to go straight for it. 1, 2. He's lining himself up for broadside action. Pomme de Terre, just the 1. And Pouf bringing up the rear. Oh, hopeless again. Barty Bendover wants some action. He doesn't get it with that. Some poor sailing. He will just continue on that course, and I think we're going to get some broadside action very shortly. Incontinent comes up behind. Okay. And Indistinct 2. Ducon will open fire. 7 dice, needing 5s. It's long range. 2 hits. Hull dice for Inflammable is 7 also. And they're saved. No effect. Gusset orders the open fire command. 8 dice. Hitting on 5 is 3 hits. Defense for Ducon is 7. Saves them all. Ineffective at this range. Initiative stays with the French. Ducon. 1 sailing point only. Pierre Perdou's having a bit of a mare with his crew here. They get a bit excited after shooting. Pomme de terre gets 4. Now, what's Rouge Ball going to do? They probably ought to stick together. So he's just going to use the 2. And Poof at the rear gets 1. Oh, poodling along with Blancmange. Our British ships are reaching at the moment, so we need 4 plus on 4 dice. So that is 4 sailing points. That's interesting for Inflammable. And well done, Gusset. Closing the range. Whittle in Incontinent gets just 1. So all of a sudden, the British squadron is split. Whittle is pissing about, and Giggle Grid is still close hauled, still needs 5s pluses and fails dramatically, just gets the 1, and therefore as the bonus we'll go forward and come in 30 degrees. So British squadron in a bit of disarray there. Both Ducon and Pomme de Terre will open up on the British flagship there. Medium range, we're hitting on 4s. Ducon first, that's 4 hits. Hull of 7 for Inflammable, saves 2, so that's 2 hits, takes an anchor token and 1 damage. And now Pomme de Terre, that's 3 hits, 6s are explosions, I may have missed that before, that's 5 hits, saving 2, damage goes up to 2. Gusset will fire back. He'll fire at Ducon, the flagship. He's only got 4 dice because of the damage. That's 2 6s though, so that's a reroll. 3 hits. 7 hull, looking for 4s up, 3 saves, no effect. But Whittle in Incontinent is in range and in arc, so he will open fire as well. 8 dice. That is 4 hits. There's 2 explosions, but it's long range, so 4 hits only. Defensive dice is 2 only. Ducon takes an anchor token and a damage token. Right, Sabati Bendover needs to be careful. Flagship is pulling away from the other 2 and is getting a lot of flack from the French. Let's roll for initiative. And it stays with the French. That's not good for the British. Capitaine Pierre Perdou in Ducon needs 6s because of that anchor token. Reroll of 1s though, because he is a navigator. I forgot before, so he just gets the 1. And he'll now roll a discipline test to try and get rid of some damage. Got 7 dice for that. Needs 6s. Gets 1. Right, so that damage goes. Hurrah. Pomme de Terre, no effect on them sailing. Close hauls, needs 5s. Gets 6 movement points. Well, I think he's going to go like this. For 1. 2. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't want to get in the way of Ducon. And finally, Poof at the rear. Needs 5s, so gets 2. French lining up nicely on Inflammable here. Needs 6s to move, doesn't get any, no re-rolls, so just flounders there. However, that does give an opportunity for Incontinent to close up. She's reaching, so gets 3. Nicely positioned. And finally, Indistinct. If you're reaching, you need 4s, so that's 2 sailing points. Before I forget, Gusset will do a discipline test. Needs 6s with 8 dice. Doesn't get any. Dear oh dear, that damage remains on 2. French squadron lined up nicely on the British, so the right hand to Pomme de Terre and Poof will fire at the British flagship, and Ducon will fire at Incontinent. 7 dice for Poof on the right here, needs 4s because it's just medium range. That's 4 hits, and the 2 6s are rerolls. 5 hits. 7 defensive dice from the British, and they save 3. So it's another 2 hits. Damage is up to 3. Pomme de terre will join in the action. And these 4s, so that's 4 hits with a reroll. Just 4 hits. Saving all of them, fortunately for the British. And finally, Duke on the flagship, opening fire on Incontinent. Oh, look at that. A massive 5 hits with 2 rerolls. Oh, 7 hits. Saves 3. So that's 4. It's an anchor token and 2 damage. Great shooting from the French. Vive Eau de Parfum. Now, Admiral Barty Bendover is a gunner, so I can get 2 rounds off this go, which I think I'll do, because I might not get another opportunity. So, 4 dice hitting on 4s. 3 hits. Pomme de terre saving on 7 dice, but old Robert Rougeball is an architect, so I can reroll 1s. I don't need to, they're all saved. Second salvo. Disastrous, no effect, so that was wasted by Barty. Incontinent will open fire, also at Pomme de terre, hitting on 4s. 2 hits, 1 reroll. Explosion, no, just the 2 hits. 7 hull dice, rerolling 1s, but now look at that, 5 saves. No effect. Giggle grid in indistinct, can't fire at Pomme de terre because they're out of arcs, so it's got to go for the French flagship of Ducon. 8 dice, hitting on 4s. Gets 3 hits. French hull, 7. Save them all. This is desperate shooting by the British. Roll for initiative. Now, the French Admiral, Patrice Eau de Parfum, is a revolutionary. I'll get +3 on this dice roll, and I want to push it for the French because they've got the advantage over the British squadron at the moment, whose force morale is on 13. And just as well, because that would have given the initiative to the British, so the French go again. Ducon needs 6s because of that anchor token. Doesn't get any. A couple of rerolls there though. Nearly missed that. No. So stays there faffing around. Discipline test to get rid of the anchor token. Needs a 6. Kicks the arse out of that. Gets 5 of them. Okay. Sorted. Pomme de terre. They're close hauls, so they need 5s. There's no reroll for her. She just gets the 1. And I think that means she is going to go in front of Ducon, potentially. It's either that or take an anchor token. And Poof at the rear. Again, needs 5, so that's 3 sailing points. And I'll tell you what, Poof is going to wear. And that's 1. 2. And that's all she'll do there. Splitting the squadron, but lining up for another broadside. Right, British go. Gusset is struggling here with his ship. Needs 6s. Otherwise they're not doing anything. 1 reroll because he's a navigator. No, becalmed, messing around with the rigging. It's all hanging out. Now this is the critical thing. He's got to roll for damage control, and if he fails, they are going to strike colours. So 7 dice. Needs a 6. Ooh, disaster. Striking colours, and they are gone from play. Flagship with Barty Bendover and Captain William Gusset. Embarrassing effort. And that, I think, is an immediate 7 points off force morale. The British are down at 6. Well, Whittle in the Incontinent needs 6s because he's still got that anchor token. Doesn't get any, so he's faffing around with his rigging. He's got to do a discipline test. Only 6 for him. Just about manages that, so reduces damage. And finally, Indistinct just gets the 1, so they'll just move 2 inches there. And Poof will open fire at Incontinent just in line of sight there. These 4s. Gets 4 with 2 rerolls for explosions. 6 hits, oh my word. 7 dice on the hull, 4 Incontinent. They save 3. So that was 3 hits. Damage token goes up to 2. Fleet morale drops to 5. And now Pomme de terre is going to join in, hitting on 4s. Oh my lordy, look at that. 5 hits with 3 rerolls, 3 explosions. So that's a total of 6 hits. Desperate stuff for the British. 7 dice. So they save 2. That's 4 hits, which means damage is up to 4. And I'm afraid that is it. With the flagship striking colours and Incontinent getting blown out the water and sinking, the French squadron have routed the British, and poor old Indistinct will scuttle away very quickly with Giggle Grid. Disaster for the British squadron.